Here we go. Alrighty, placing my hands on my heart, taking that breath of love and gratitude. That deeply cleansing breath where we can tap into that peace in our heart space. Grateful for our willingness to come together with open hearts and open minds, our desire to clean and clear away any and all blocks to love. We are allowing them to fall away with ease and grace, peacefully, tenderly, gently, kindly. We are grateful for this powerful community and our desire to live the teachings of A Course in Miracles, to live a life of love. We're grateful to call on all of our earthly and heavenly helpers to surround and support us now, support each one of us here, anyone who will listen later, to support the technology that we get to use to come together each week. We're so very grateful for the blessings that is this prayer and this conversation. And we're grateful to share the blessings and the love that we are with Mother Earth and all her beings, because we are one. In grace and gratitude, we let it be, and so it is. Amen. So we are in chapter 26, section 9, for They Have Come. I'm going to start us with the first paragraph, because I wrote up at the top above it, rejoice, with several exclamation points, which and a smiley face. Think but how holy you must be, from whom the voice for God calls lovingly unto your brother, that you may wake in him the voice that answers to your call. And think how holy he must be when in him sleeps your own salvation, with his freedom joined. However much you wish he be condemned, and I circled he and wrote or I, so I wish I be condemned, God is in him. And never will you know he is in you as well, while you attack his chosen home and battle with his host. Regard him gently. Look with loving eyes on him who carries Christ within him, that you may behold his glory and rejoice that heaven is not separate from you. Yeah, rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. And I wrote, my affirmation was, I am willing to see the face of Christ in all, even in the mirror. So I feel that kind of touched on Nancy Gale's comment about the reflection as well, that we are the purpose of our forgiveness work is to reflect that forgiveness and that seeing the face of Christ in all, including ourselves, no matter what we think we've done or not done, or said or not said, no matter what. So that's where I'm starting us. Who would like to expand on that or share something else?
I'll just say that as I was reading this today, it came to my attention and my awareness that it's easier for me to see the face of Christ in some people than in others.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that is our task. And that's one of the meditations that I've heard many Buddhists use, but I think my original learning of it was from, and her name just left my head. Anyways, it is to send loving kindness to those that you love, and then send that same loving kindness to yourself, and then to send that same loving kindness to those that you have grievances against.
Was it Thich Nhat Hanh?
Nope, Pima Chodron.
That's-
But it could have been Thich Nhat Hanh as well. I think it's just a Buddhist meditation practice that they do. So, yeah. So yeah, it just practicing sending loving kindness. It's the same thing like I have mentioned here before about putting a picture of a child or a pet that you love and adore somewhere where you will see it often. And every time you see that picture and you think of all the love that you would love to shower that child or pet with, have also a photo of yourself so that you can send that same loving kindness to yourself. Go ahead, Carla.
Okay, I was going to say that a practice I used to do that was similar to that. Well, there's a song that I really liked. It's called Thank You by, I can't remember the name, but it says thank you like 50 times, right? And so I would start out, that song really got me going, and I would start out thinking of what I was thankful for. There's easy stuff that people I love, things. And then halfway through the song, I'd shift to things that were kind of questionable. And then toward the end of the song, I'd think about, once I got really rolling on the emotion and stuff, I'd think about people that very challenging that I used to not be grateful for. And that really, and that's, I think, Pema Chodron is where I got that from, that meditation. And what I hear from what you're saying is we're spirit, the essence of the I am, or whatever you're going to call it, having a human experience, right? And I know I have gotten lost in believing that I am the daughter, I am the lesbian, I'm the person who doesn't choose correctly, that believes the grievance or judgment or something. And it's been years, and it's so challenging because it's every moment, it's all the time. The mind, because Rome thought is shared with everybody, and most people believe that they are the doctor, the lawyer, whatever it is, victim. But that's not us. Once I really, and I'm still learning to identify, because to recognize thoughts that hook me and take me down a path of something other than love. And so that's kind of what in the first paragraph, I don't have the numbers of the lines, but it says, and never will you know he is in you, it's toward the end, as well, because you attack his chosen home and battle with his host to guard him gently. And that's when I realized that's what I'm doing when I think I'm separate. I think that I believe in my thoughts and believing that I can be anything other than what God created. I cannot be. And we're just spirit having a human experience. What is it? We're living in a role that we created for some reason. I don't know, to learn, to grow, to love. It's all that, really, love. But it's like some actors get kind of caught up in they live the part that they're playing, right? And why do some actors seem to succeed and some seem to go down this dark road of drugs or whatever, end their lives early? This is what seems like mistakes. I'm wondering, is it because some part of them is lost in the role that the roles that they were playing as actors? And that's what we have. That's what I'll speak for myself. I think I have done is I think the human, I think I believe the grievance, I believe the thought that comes to me. But I don't want to battle. Who is the host? The host is the higher self. Well, maybe it's the human body is the host and the higher self. I'm battling with the truth of me. This body is the home I've chose for this moment. That's where I am. And so every time I believe a grievance, every time I believe a thought about anything, something other than love, you know, I'm speaking here. I speak like I can do it, but I'm still learning. And I'd like to share what my choice, I guess, because all thought is shared, is that I see I go to another line. The holiest of all, in paragraph 6, the first line, the holiest of all spots on earth is where an ancient hatred has become a present love. So we are holy. It doesn't matter if we do that, if we change from hate to love or not, we are holy. But can we make it any holier? Well, in truth, no. But we can shift ourselves and allow God to flow through us by choosing love. Because when you choose the grievance or the upset or the illusion or whatever, we block God, we block the truth, we block love, we block ourselves from our chosen path in this lifetime. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Carla. You know what I was thinking too when you reread that sentence in paragraph 1, where he says, "And never will you know he is in you as well while you attack him, his chosen home, and battle with his host." And what that brings to mind for me as well is that holy place where I can look at, you know, say my mother with her illnesses, especially towards the end of her life. And instead of looking at her and judging her for the things that I believe that she did wrong in her lifetime that brought her to that place of being diabetic, having kidney failure, you know, that deep depression that she appeared to be suffering from after my father passed, like she never ever got out of that. And the dementia, which for me, what I'm understanding more, it's like kind of unfolding in my mind since her passing just over a year ago. The dementia is like the unwillingness to see and take responsibility for our own choices. And so I'm interested in like completely releasing any and all judgments or opinions I have about what she did or did not do in her life that brought her to her end. Her end was already chosen. She chose it before she came here. And so if I'm to be a part of the salvation of the world. My job is to see it as perfect and divine, exactly as it was. And so I'm grateful for that gift, to have the opportunity to work with that in my mind, because I know that that is the answer for my own seeming health issues as well. When I can forgive her for all of the choices that she made or didn't make in her life, that I feel she should be held responsible, or she was held responsible, and that's was her demise. When I can forgive that and just see it as the perfect unfolding of the life that she chose to experience in this world before she even came here, then I can do that for myself as well. Then I can let go of the judgments I have about my weight or my cravings for sweets, that I sometimes give into as a manner of self-soothing when I'm feeling stressed out or sad. When I can forgive myself for all those things and release the meaning that I'm making of them, that they are contributing to my health issues, my seeming health issues. They're really not issues. It's my belief in them that makes them real. Then I can be healed, and everyone along with me, because my brothers and sisters are my salvation. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to see that and claim that for my mother and for myself and for my entire family, because our healing is all one, and for all of you. Mary Lee.
Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I appreciate hearing those words. I haven't been able to join our group here for about 1 month. I don't even know if I had mentioned that my challenged sister was coming to be here for 3 weeks. It ended up being 3 weeks rather than 2, because her husband got COVID back in Michigan. But what you were saying about judgment of what you have in the past put against your mother, or that she wasn't more well, I definitely went through a lot of that this past month. Kind of feel like I've been in judgment of my sister, who is very unwell. Many medical challenges stemming. She'd had a car accident, and so she has taken narcotics all her life. And she's basically kind of at the end stage of what opioid addiction looks like. Physically, skin and bones. And I'm still processing what it is that I can gain spiritually from that visit, rather than judge it and, oh, I wish it was different, or it should be different. Or like Deborah said, it's easier to see Christ in maybe persons that are well and bouncing around and, just all happy and all that. But it's harder to see it in someone like my sister, that I have been in the presence of for most of this past month. So I appreciate listening to what others' insights into the Course in Miracles provides for me.
Yeah, thank you, Mary Lee. And God bless you with your sister. It is a gift, even though it doesn't feel like it at the time. I mean, I couldn't see it while my mom was still on this earth. That's for sure. I didn't have the strength and the spiritual sight to do it. I mean, I could to a point, but I was still making the meaning of it. If she loved me enough, she would not do this to herself, you know, and making that meaning of it. Like it was a reflection on how much she loved me, or a reflection on how worthy or unworthy I was of her love. So, yeah, honor every single thing that's coming up for you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and work with it, you know, write it down and just take one thought a day and allow yourself to meditate with it and see what gems you can glean from it, because they are all around it once we can see it. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share? Anything from the readings or what we've talked about so far? Go ahead, Grace.
Hi, yeah, this was a great reading. I had a similar experience with my mother, and without making any comment on it now, apart from the fact that she obviously suffered from depression. In post-war England, she fought in the war for 5 years as an ambulance driver. But anyway, she struggled with depression most of her life, and we did not have such a great relationship, but I realized that if I wanted a good relationship with her, I had to be that good relationship and not have any expectations from her at all. And it's taken a while. And so my question today is, you know, I think there are levels of forgiveness, and you keep working on it and you keep letting go, but I still don't love my parents in the same way that I love my children. And that kind of, so I put that out to Holy Spirit to say that I don't want to love my parents any less than I do my children or my grandchildren. And I'm willing, you know, to learn how to do that. And I'm open to doing it, even though it seems pretty difficult at the moment to have those same feelings. But I don't want these different levels of love to be going on. I want it to be a little bit more pure. And so any input on that would be great. And then because I live on my own, I'm very lucky because I can just switch up and meditate all day if I want to. And this Christmas, we just decided to do Secret Santa. So I only really had one present to buy, though I have to say I did buy extra for my kids and my son-in-laws and my grandchildren in secret, which I've got to get to them somehow under the table or when everyone else is gone. But so what I did this holiday, when I read in Course in Miracles that whatever you give your brother, you give yourself. And I thought, wow, okay, what can I give to my brother? So I decided this year to buy gifts for the postman, my doctor's office, the recycling guys, and the garbage collection guys. I think that's everything apart from some neighbors. I had such fun doing that. It was unbelievable. The joy that went around. I mean, I was not up when the garbage man came, but when the recycling guy came, I'd already got up and I peeped through the curtains, and he opened his beautiful box of Merci chocolates, my favorites that didn't scrimp. And he went, woo! And I had so much fun with that. I was just enjoy all day from it, so yeah, it feels like giving is really our nature. Giving and loving is really our nature. My goal is to be able to feel about my mom and dad what I feel, the level of love I feel for people I really, really adore. I want to really, really adore them. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. And Catherine, just before we go to you, I just wanted to comment on that I still have challenges around that myself with my parents, But what I have found or discovered within myself is that there are aspects of them that I can love in that way. Like when I think about my father and how he was raised in a house with a violent alcoholic, and as a father, and a mother that was emotionally and mentally unavailable, I can have that compassion and that love for him. When I think about when I was little and he was starting to parent the way that he was raised, and the emotional, mental, and physical abuse that my sister and I endured during that time, it is difficult for me to have that same love and compassion. But you know, there are times when I can think of him as a child, or when I can think of him when he got into his 40s, his midlife crisis, and decided to he was going to stop drinking, and he started meditating, and he started chanting, and he started going to spiritual development classes, and then teaching people how to meditate. And him and my mom were doing that stuff together for a long time. That brings me joy, and I can really love that part of him. And then again, I have challenges at the end when him and my mother were so fearful that my father had loaded guns all over the house. That's how paranoid he was, and afraid about, I don't know exactly what, just everything. And he isolated himself. Really, the only people that he allowed to be around in his life were me, my sister, my son, and our spouses, only because we were married to them. Really, I mean, if he had his way, it would just be the three of us, and damn everyone else. So that is challenging to love. But I think part of my work around that is to really be aware and notice and acknowledge and show compassion for the parts of myself that are that fearful. So I feel like love has different flavors a little bit sometimes. And I like both chocolate and vanilla, but I like chocolate a little bit better. And that kind of helps me so that I can still feel that love and compassion for the parts of my parents that were not so enjoyable to me when I was growing up. And I can have those same feelings about myself as well. So I feel like for me, it's an unfolding, like the layers of the onion. As I'm willing to let go of my opinions and judgments about things and the meanings that I make of them, the easier it is for me to love it all, and just know that it was and is for my highest good, because it happened. So I hope that helps a little bit.
Yeah, can I just quickly add that doing this releasing of judgments and seeing other people as the Christ and innocent, after a lifetime of being sick, has healed me. And I don't know when it happened, it just fell off. And I sometimes have iffy days, but now I understand about health and how pain is just something that our mind has decided to inflict on our bodies because of how bad we feel about ourselves. So for me, that's really been evidence that, if we do love ourselves, I won't let myself judge anything if I can help it. And being more open to the miracles of spirit, knowing that can actually happen. I hardly ever take any meds anymore. I'm too busy to take them. I've been forgetting to take them. And I never used to move an inch from them before. So it is kind of great to know that doing this, releasing and non-judgment and accepting this world of love will actually do the healing of your body as well. Yes.
Yeah, on all levels. Yeah. Thank you, Grace.
you.
Thank you so much. Kathy.
Yeah, I know. This is an interesting topic because, you know, we're so attached to how we want things to be. And so that this just rings so heavy for me is like, I have an attachment to how I would like things to be. Just like Grace is, I'd like, you know, some of these relationships to feel better. But one of the things I got clear about is when Jennifer had us do the release and clear experiment for 21 days. And it finally came to me after working that one that I could still see the cry for love that, you know, some of these people were for me, or to, well, for me, I guess I should say, when I was really upset, you know, it hurt. I allowed it to hurt me. And then after just working this a while, I could see, okay, well, this is where judgments and opinions get in our way and block our ability to step out in love and peace and see, truly see the light of love buried deep inside. I mean, we talk about our parents here, and certainly I had the same experience. But because I've had this experience of loving my children and my grandchildren, it now gives me a sense of how much my mother must have loved her children and yet couldn't express it, and had her own path to walk that was ugly. I'll just call it ugly. And she just wasn't present for us. And yet she could deeply love us. I mean, I now get that her path was not what I expected it to be, and certainly not what I thought it should be. I mean, I wasted a whole lot of time, you know, attached to, you know, how could a mother do this? Well, it was her journey. It was her journey of learning and unfolding. And so that even in this unfoldment that we are in, we're going to have these missteps. And the beauty here is we have to choose again. You know, God never condemns. So we're in this wonderful place of being able to say, all right, you know, there's a misstep. I get to choose again. What is it I'm missing here? What is the mirror trying to show me? And what I loved was that paragraph 3, where it said, the blood of hatred fades to let the grass grow green again, and let the flowers be all white and sparkling in the summer sun. And I thought, that is the road we're on. So as we hold this time, especially this time, and for me, it's in this Thursday, you know, group that I'm doing with healing, the divisions in the world. And really, divisions in the world are forgiveness for what we think has been done to us or to another. So here we sit in this lovely time. And today we had 80-mile-an-hour winds down in Florida. And our big grill blew into the pool. And I was like, I just laughed. I just went, okay. Yeah, I laughed. It's just like, wow, it's dead in the water. How many things are dead in the water that we want to bring to life? And I thought, okay, here is our time to hold peace, to hold love, to just see the cry for love. So I witnessed it in nature. Nature's just calling us back to say, just see the beauty all around you. See the beauty all around you, and just hold that. Don't have any judgments or opinions or attachments. Just see what's around you. Keep sending love. Keep sending love. And maybe, just maybe, in one of these sparkling moments, you know, we'll just come to. We'll see that stuff has faded from our view because we've been loved. We've been willing to be loved. We've been willing to be peace, and we have let go. Maybe it's just one judgment or one opinion. I will take that. Anyway, that's just what came up for me.
Yeah, thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much. Derwin, and then Carol.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. This time I'm not in the Netherlands. I'm in the Caribbean, Curacao. That's a very small island. I'm home at my mom's place. After 2 years, I came back for a few weeks. And while reading this chapter, I really had to read it 3 or 4 times. I just couldn't get it first. But I think I'm getting it. I loved when you shared, Linda, in the beginning, the paragraph that you that you chose to read, and you said, look with loving eyes on him who carries Christ within him, that you may behold his glory and rejoice that heaven is not separate from you. Look with loving eyes to the other, but also to the one you see in the mirror. And then I was like, whew, so hard sometimes. But I'm home, and I'm very happy to be home. Talking now about moms and parents. My mom is walking here around, cleaning. I was just sitting here and saying, I'm just blessed to be at this position. 2 days ago, we did have a small fight here, and you know, irritations are always there between parents and children, and I can sometimes say the most ugliest things to my mom. And then I went to bed and I was like, what happened? How is that possible? But then, yeah, luckily I could also see this as an opportunity to forgive, right? And yesterday I mean, we haven't spoken out the forgiveness, but when you do it in your heart, I think you can feel it around you. And I think my mom feels it. And we have been treating each other very nicely yesterday and today as well. But I also, I liked also I don't know which paragraph it is in your books. In mine, it's 81. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 6th paragraph, I think, starts with, the holiest of all the spots on earth is where an ancient hatred has become a present love. And I just needed that to, and I needed this meeting to realize it's all good, it's all fine. As long as I can, you know, convert it to love, even though it might be difficult, it is good. It is good. So I just wanted to share that I'm sitting here a bit teary, a bit emotional, because I'm, after 2 years at home in this situation. I'm very grateful, regardless of all the hassle that was needed to come here. And I'm also grateful for having the bumps, the discussions, the fights with mom, because I'm happy that I can practice forgiveness now while being here. So thank you all for allowing me to be part of this group, and for allowing my the Course in Miracles to do its work in my life as we do it here together as in the community too. Small other thing that I wanted to that I wrote down. I like to link what the chapter with the title. So for they have come, I kept wondering, who are they? Them, who is them? And then in one paragraph, but I'm not sure if that's correct. It says it's almost the last paragraph starts with, around you, angels hover lovingly to keep away all darkened thoughts of sin and keep the light where it has entered in. So are they the angels, you guys? I was just looking for
And
for
you, my friend.
Thank you. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share. Thank you all.
Thank you, Derwin. What a beautiful opportunity to practice having a holy relationship with your mom. And we learn through contrast. So, you know, letting go of any sense of guilt or shame around what happened, and just loving yourself through it and loving your mom through it. Yeah, you can do it. And we're here holding you up, my friend. Thank you, Derwin.
Derwin, where do you live exactly?
So right now I'm in Curacao. That is in the coast of Venezuela, next to Aruba. Most
Okay.
people know the island of Aruba, but Curacao is not so familiar. It's a Dutch Caribbean island, but right now, yeah. So right now I'm here, but my home is in the Netherlands. I'm here for 6 weeks.
Yeah, enjoy your visit and safe travels on your way home. Mhm. Carol.
Hi, everybody. I loved this chapter. It was difficult for me to find one paragraph that I liked better. It really isn't, but something struck me really. It's like all the other paragraphs dance around it and talk about it, but paragraph 4, it's like it hit me right in the face. It says, what is 100 or 1,000 years to them? And to me, them is the memory of God and the face of Christ, which we all are. Okay, so what is 100 or 1,000 years to them, or tens of thousands? That in itself is kind of, got to dwell on that a little bit to get it. When they come, time's purpose is fulfilled. What never was, here's what hooked me. What never was passes to nothingness when they have come. And you know, I've been watching, I think a couple of times, the movie The Butler. It's about it's a true story about a man who grew up on a slave farm, a plantation, and eventually ended up being trained to serve as a butler and in the White House. And actually, at the end of the movie, it's a lovely movie, but not easy in the beginning. It's kind of rough. And that's what hit me. I thought, dear Lord, here's this young kid watching his mother be abused and then his father shot right in front of him. So I struggled with it. And of course, I thought about Hitler and all these, big situations, big, lots and lots of people and all this stuff. And when I saw that, what never was passes to nothingness when they have come. It's obviously takes time to process and heal from that type of thing. But in the end, it isn't real. And for me to remember that is very, very important. That in the end, whatever goes on in the physical realm really does not touch who we are. And that one sentence kind of just narrowed it all down because it really directly says it never was. All these physical things are not real. You can't get there quickly if you've experienced deep pain, wounds, hurts, traumas, abuses, whatever that is. It takes time. But ultimately, the reality is it never was. And that just brought it so home to me. Then it says, what hatred claimed, of course, is given up to love. And freedom lights up every living thing and lifts it into heaven where the lights grow ever brighter as each one comes home. And I thought, when we come home to God, when we truly awaken to know where our home is, what our home is, life gets brighter. This universe lightens each time that happens. That just so blessed me when I read that. I thought, oh, it's just all good, not easy, but good. And I just wanted to share that. That one sentence was so powerful for me. It just hit home as like, okay, this is what it's all about. It truly, ultimately does not have meaning to who I am, to my reality, to our reality, to our eternal life. It just doesn't. And it really helped a lot. So I just wanted to emphasize that. Thanks.
Thank you, Carol. I just wanted to, when you were saying that, quoting that passage, the image that I got in my mind, I don't know if y'all have ever seen the movie The Dark Crystal. It's a Jim Henson production where there's these two groups of beings, and one is peaceful and kind and loving, and the other group of beings are greedy and ugly and just mean. And they end up coming together. It's so weird. I can only remember bits and pieces of how they actually came together, but I know that there were these little beings that are like, to me, it's like, it's us walking around the earth, and they found this shard of this crystal. And when they replaced the shard back to where it belonged, like it's a piece of our heart that's missing, that we're not seeing it. When they replaced that piece of the crystal, the two beings, the ugly, mean ones and the peaceful, loving ones, came together and formed a single being. And that's how I feel like that's what will happen when we finally figure out all the pieces of the puzzle that have been missing or that we're not recognizing, that it will like disappearance of the universe. It will all like come together in this one perfect being and just a ball of light. And, then we'll remember, oh yeah, here we are in heaven, So it's just what came to my mind when you were talking about that, Carol. So I had to share it. Thank you. Nancy Gale.
Hey, hi. Sorry, I've been missing for a while also. I just have to share this. I really have to share this. It's about David. He's like really, towards the end of his life. And I met him well, the story is, well, it's a really, I went, the church I would belong to sent me, I was the the evangelism chairman, right? They sent me to Chicago to this conference. It was 1989 or something like that. And it was summer and it was hot. And so anyway, as this is the part of the story, this is interesting. At the end, I had stayed an extra day because I thought it was like on the weekend. I went to Monday. I wanted to go see Oprah, but that's way back when, right? Well, I couldn't get a ticket, but anyway. So I went into the city anyway. I took the subway and I got off the subway and I came up to the street level and I came out and there's all these people. And I didn't know I wanted to, where's the Sears Tower? I went to see where she was. And I didn't know how to get there. And so what I do is I'll ask anybody, it's like, so I just looked at us, like I saw these two guys come in amongst all the other people. I just stepped out when they got close to me and I asked them, I said, I'm looking for this place. Can you tell me where it is? And they said, they turned me around and pointed, it's right over there. I said, thank you. And it was two Jewish men. One was just regular like us. The other one was like Orthodox, had the hat and the beard and everything. Okay, and so I went and all that. So that was 1989 in the summer, like July or something like that. Okay, so then fast forward to 1990 or 91. And I was just going to CODA groups and stuff like that. And I met David. And I just was torn. He was really angry back then. And I was torn to him. It's like, or drawn to him. It's like, okay. And then, so then that's when our friendship started. We started talking and all that. Well, anyways, come to find out, he told me, he said, we've met before. I said, yeah, right. It's like, he was the brother, or they were cousins. He was the cousin, I said, we remembered. It's like he remembered me, and I said, you got to be kidding me. So now we come to today, right? This is 30 years later. and he's now at the end. But one of the early conversations we had, we were sitting in a restaurant someplace. We're talking about Jesus and like religion, right? All that. And I remember him saying he knows there's a God, but he doesn't believe that God is, it's a personal God, that God's interested in him and or anything like that. But so I said, okay. He said, that's an agnostic. And I said, well, what's an agnostic? And that's why we explained it. So anyways, so that was the end of that conversation. I don't push people. It's like, so anyways, then years later, when I was living actually down 5 miles from here, and my mom died. It was 1984. She died, actually, today's the anniversary of her death, at midnight. And I was like, I was just like, depression, you talk about depression, that's like, my goal had been in my life to get her to love me, even just accept me and love me. And it never happened. Her words, that, you know, the final words to the universe were totally anger and, you know, how bad I was and all that. So anyway, so I said, okay, I failed. You know, I don't have anything else, you know, so I just like went to bed and and it didn't do anything. I just like, it's like, just shrunk right up. And it was like January, 2-3 weeks later, I decided I didn't want to live anymore. I mean, what was to live for? I failed at everything. So I was laying in bed and I made up my mind. So I started to get up and I was paralyzed. I couldn't move. And that made me so angry. I started yelling towards the closet. I said, like, this is before I knew ego and everything. I thought the devil is like, right, you wait till somebody's really down and then you get them. You just do this to them. That anger, and all of a sudden, the whole room filled with this white light. Like I thought it came from in the window. And it's like, I knew it was God. And I said, okay, you love me enough to come to me. Nobody else in the world cared about me. You love me enough to come to me and show me. And then it showed the truth at the same time. It was the truth at the closet. It was like, that's the ego, the devil, whatever. That's lies. That's lies. That's what's going on here. That's you don't want to do that. So it showed me the truth at the same time. To me, and I said, okay, you love me enough to do this. I'm yours. And that's where it's like, well, anyways, I never told anybody that. That's how many years ago. I never shared that with Jennifer, not too long ago, but never told anybody else. And so Sunday, David and we've talked for 2 hours. And I told him, I said, remember that conversation we had? And you told me, oh, and then that same day and then as soon as that ended, I got up out of bed, went and took a shower and walked up the hill. So the lady behind me, she'd been in an accident. She basically laid on the couch all day. Her spine was kaput. And I walked in and I told her name's Aileen. And she was laying on the couch. And I said, I don't know if you believe in God or what. She says, no, I'm an agnostic. I said, what does that mean again? She said, I know there's a God, but it's like, it's not really for me, it's not. So I said, okay. And I just told her what had happened to me. I said, this is what happened to me. And she just, she didn't, no judgment, just pure acceptance and love. And then I left after a bit. David is the same way. That's what our friendship was about. Acceptance and non-judgment. Never, 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 never. So I felt safe to tell both of them. So I told him that, yes, on Sunday. I shared it with him. And I said, I never told you this, but this is what happened. And it's like the whole time I would go like phases, and then he'd say, thank you. And I told him his birthday was the 4th. And it's like I never missed a birthday for him, and I didn't know what to message to write, and like on the thing. and for days. And it's like, I would go over and over and over in my mind. I said, what I want to, my birthday wish for him would be that he knows how much he affected or influenced all the people, so many people. He had this wonderful effect on so many people, including me. And I wanted him to know that. And I never said anything. It's like that was 2 weeks ago, right? And then a couple of weeks ago, he posted the thing about his, where he is and with his cancer. And he got all these massive numbers of people writing their notes and messages to him. And so Sunday I told him, I said, that was the answer to my prayer. This is what I prayed for you, what I wanted, and that was the answer. And so then I added my whole thing, you are this is who you are to me. You are, and and he said, I think I know all these people care. I didn't realize how much influence I had on all these people from his blog. He'd done, with the COVID and everything. But I said, well, yeah, that's true. I said, but also there's all these other people. And so I finally got to share that with him. Then I added, it's like all the different things from that I'm learning from him, right? I don't remember exactly, but I said, God is love. That's all he is. There's no judgment. And you are, etc. I did a logic thing. And I said, therefore, and you and I, we are children of God. And we are exactly like he is. And all he is love. And that's the truth. And it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not, it's still the truth, and that's still who you are. And God loves you. And, and I said, it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not, it's like true. And that's who you are. And it's like, just like, this was 30 years later, I got to tell that to him before he dies. And also I told him, I said, I've been praying for you and for Bonnie and his wife and his daughter Abigail. She's autistic. She's just started her second year in college. But and then I listed all the characteristics, and I was like, you're a loving son. Well, I'll go on. And anyway, and so that's that major thing for me. And then last night I was having this, when I went to bed. I haven't been sleeping. I don't go to bed. I won't go to bed because every time I go to bed, everybody that dies, it's either during the night and I get a phone call, in the middle of the night, or I've lived so far away, or they don't tell me. And it's like, so I wasn't, I haven't been going to sleep. I'll sit in this chair and they'll doze off and on, but I won't go to bed and go to sleep. And I told Amy that, and it's like, but anyways, so finally, last night I said, you know what, I'm going to bed. And I had this terrible, I don't even know if I was asleep, but this horrible fear thing. It was like fear. It was trying to get me. And I used to have these dreams when I was a kid, because I was raped. And then it was like the guy told me I'll come back, blah, blah. And I always have to have these. Anyways, and it was like I thought I was having a heart attack. And then I said, this is fear, fear, fear. And I realized, then I remembered, fear is an illusion. This is an illusion. Fear is an illusion. I just kept saying Jesus and God and spelling their names and blah, blah, blah. And fear is an illusion. It's like, it's an illusion. And okay, then nothing can happen to me. If you're just an illusion, you're just an illusion. You're not real. And then I just kind of like was released. And I went to sleep. And now I know the truth. And I know that's the truth. It's like once you get the truth in your head, and your mind and your heart, you're free. That's what forgiveness is. Getting the truth in. It's like a box. You fill a box, you cram it full of stuff and you can't put any more in it. Well, you have to take something out in order, take something out, and then you got more room. That's what's going on. So here I sit anyway, and it's like, it's totally awesome. And
Thank
I'm not afraid anymore. And it's like, because I know the truth. The truth has set me free from the fear. And
Yes.
so I can see David, and I know this is was his path. He doesn't know that, but I know that, and that's fine. And so if I'm free, then so is he. And it's like,
Absolutely.
so
Thank you so much, Nancy Gale, for the gift that you gave to David. And that reflection is that all of those same words that you said to him, that were the gift to him, everybody, we could say the same to you. The gift that you are to others is that light that you saw in the room that day. And so thank you for being that light. Thank you for being that light. Yeah. So I'm going to close this out because we're at time here.
Oh,
But
I'm sorry. Okay.
that's all right, sweetie.
Okay.
I'm
I had
so
to share
glad
it
you
with you.
came, and I'm so glad you shared.
Yeah.
So next week we're going to finish up chapter 26, the end of injustice. I just feel like
Yay.
it's so cool that we're ending the year with a bang and with the end of a chapter, and then we get to start the new year with the healing of the dream, the picture of the crucifixion. So I'm really excited about that. So let's see. So I'm going to read from my Pathways of Light lesson insights for lesson number 355. Only 5 left. There is no end to all the peace and joy and all the miracles that I will give when I accept God's word. Why not today? Accepting God's word is accepting the truth. I accept the truth by opening my mind to give the Holy Spirit's healing perceptions. I accept the truth by opening to receive God's peace. To receive God's peace, I focus on God's peace. I focus on letting it in. I know that I have let peace in when I can feel it, for it softens every concern. God's peace brings a gentleness and a quiet certainty with it. There is also a feeling of well-being and a knowing that everything is all right, no matter what may appear to be happening in the dream. If I am open to receive mind healing around any particular area of my life, I will receive it in a form that is best for me at that moment. I receive God's word through my desire to receive it. When my desire is strong, I open easily, and there is no efforting because it always has been there, waiting for my acceptance. There are but 2 thought systems for me to choose between. I must be willing to lay down the ego thought system in order to receive God's word. In order to receive my true inheritance, I will remember my true identity only as I am willing to let go of what is not mine. The ego thought system is not what I am, nor will it ever be. It is my choosing that brings me the ego or God's word. In today's lesson, Jesus is asking me to join with him in choosing God's word. He encourages me to accept the peace and joy that comes with returning to my true self. Today, now, I choose to join with God's word. I choose to let love heal my mind of all its false ideas. Everyone in this world is searching for peace, for this is a world of conflict and depression. Whether or not we find peace depends upon the guide we listen to. The ego directs us to look for some form that will make us happy and bring us peace, because that is all it knows. So if we follow the ego's direction, we look for peace in the right job, the right partner, the right house, having the right stuff. Or we may look for it in a bottle, a chemical or a physical pleasure, or by trying to get rid of those we do not like, even to the point of war and murder. All these attempts are in keeping with the ego's motto, seek and do not find. No one has ever found lasting peace and happiness in any of these things. In fact, they only bring us more pain. Fortunately, tolerance for pain may be high, but it is not without limit. Eventually, everyone begins to recognize, however dimly, that there must be a better way. At that point, we can open the door a crack to be receptive to God's word. His words come to us through the Holy Spirit in our minds. When we let the Holy Spirit guide us, we are led to recognize that there is no value in any form in this world. We are led gently and patiently to recognize the love and peace that we seek is already in us. And we begin to see it in our brothers as well. We begin to see that all the conflict is over nothing. We begin to see that we are not alone, but are always in the presence of our loving Father and Creator. We begin to see that our brothers are part of us, not adversaries, but partners in the journey to remembering love. The Word of God tells me that I remain one with love as I was created. As I accept this, I give the miracle of the vision of unity to all I see. Conflict fades away, for I recognize that there is no other in opposition to the will of love. I recognize my will is the will of love, and I see that all my brothers join me in that will. The fruitless searching is over. My attention now is focused with a singleness of purpose on a prize that has always been mine. Each time I bring a painful thought to the Holy Spirit to receive his healing light, I move a step closer to the prize. I forgive, and light replaces darkness. Peace replaces conflict, and love replaces fear. I forgive, and I remember God's word. And may it be so. Christ's light blessings to every single one of you. Thank you all for being a gift in my life. I love you. See you next week. Bye for now.
Love you too. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.